A great meeting point, convenient light meals, hot and cold beverages, or a quick snack on the go. What's your order for the day? We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk with me, Anele. On this Monday, my first guest has a wealth of corporate and government experience. He calls himself a transformation agent, and he's certainly not one to shy away from ruffling a few feathers. In the space of a week, he's had more articles written about him than most celebrities get in a year, and all because of an announcement that he bought the Gupta's media empire for 450 million. Jeez. This transaction turned him into the single largest black media owner in South Africa. Everyone knows who we're talking about. We're going behind the headlines to have a chat with Anele Manyi, and we welcome him to Real Talk.
Hi there, Anele, and hi to your listeners and your viewers.
Oh, viewers, okay, listeners, because some people are watching from the kitchen. You're right. You're very smart.
No, others have a visual problem.
Oh, politically correct. Included.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You were
Yeah.
sitting downstairs, ne?
Yeah.
And every time somebody said something funny, you would laugh, and then the entire building would hear you. We're like, this guy came with his laugh. Listen,
Yeah.
in 1 week, I mean, everyone is talking about you and this acquisition, I'd like to call it.
Yeah.
But I want to go before all of that, to the very beginning. Let's
Yeah.
go to Meadowlands,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Anele is growing up in Meadowlands.
Yes.
What does he want to do? With his
No,
life?
you see, because it's just like most of the people that grew up in the township, we try to run away from poverty.
True.
I'm from a family that did not have all the wherewithal. My mother was a salesperson, selling soft goods, and later upgraded and sold furniture.
Oh.
My father was a Patco driver, bus driver. So that's my background. So I have a very good sense of what poverty is about. So when I even chose the profession, it was informed by running away from poverty. I chose geology. And the reason I did that, I thought, to see if I studied geology, I was going to be closer to diamonds and golds. And so I'm going to have glitter around me, so I'm going to be fine. So yeah, that's what I did. But I think the good thing about it is that when I eventually got there, at least I was never in a situation where I was without a job.
Okay. So am I correct in assuming that you did time at Harvard?
Yeah, I did a vacation at Harvard. I did some time at Harvard, six-week program.
those 6 weeks, 6 months programs.
Yeah,
okay.
that
I
kind
know
of
those.
yeah, one of those. But I think what's important about that program, you see, some people on Twitter get challenged about being a Harvard alumnus and all that, and people don't realize that there's a certain amount of time that you must spend in Harvard to qualify to be an alumnus of Harvard Business School, and also the complexity of the program, etc. Not all programs give you that accreditation, so I feel quite good that the one I did has got that accreditation and so on. So yeah.
But to be fair, if I went to Harvard for the tuck shop, I am sorry.
You don't decide. By the way, it's not something that you make on your own. It's Harvard that accords that status. So for me to call myself a Harvard alumnus is because Harvard says so.
They say
so if you have a
not
problem with Harvard standards, it's your problem.
And you're then shifting to government. I know people call you controversial. Do you agree with that statement, that where you say,
no,
okay?
I think I'm a person that speaks the truth. And so people are not used to the truth. And I'm one of those, I think I tell it like it is. So people don't like this kind of stuff. And they say you're controversial when I'm just being honest. So I'm a very honest person.
But I mean, you're not an island, right? So obviously you have a family and you have kids and you've got cousins and you've got brothers and sisters and you've got friends.
Yeah.
Every time you're in the papers, who's most likely to call and be like, Jimmy, man, breakfast, lunch, hi, man, Jimmy.
Yeah, actually, maybe it's more my nieces and nephews that do that. And they sometimes get traumatized with some of these things and all that. But otherwise, I think my family is media fit. I've been having all kinds of battles. But one thing I promised them is that, you see, whatever they say, they will never they'll never come up with something tangible, wrong that I have done. They can paint all the things, they can say whatever they want. They will find that Mzwanele Manyi has not stolen 1 cent from nobody. So that is the big thing. So even my bishop, at the Bantu Church of Christ, they know this, that people can write all the nonsense they want to write about me, but I'm an honest person, I don't steal. So that's my line.
Let's say there is something that you have done wrong. Do you alert your closest family and be like, okay, this might come out, it looks like this, but it's actually like this?
Yes, no, of course, yes.
Okay.
Definitely, I prepare them. I tell them that this, and I say to them, this is how I'm going to deal with it, just to show that it's actually a lot of nonsense, but this is coming up. Yeah, but yeah, they know this by now. So, yeah.
You said something very interesting. You said your whole life you wanted to run away from poverty, right? Yeah. When was the first time where you then didn't feel poor?
Yeah, no.
There's that laugh again.
Look, I think I've been one of the fortunate people in terms of after matric.
Yeah.
And when I wanted to go to university, I did not even have the funds. So I went to a technicon, because at a technicon at the time, you didn't only attend, but they also gave you some kind of a stipend. Stipend, okay. No, whilst you're still studying. So for me, with my kind of background, that's what worked for me. Not that I went there because I didn't have university exemption. I had university exemption and all. I had maths and science in my matric, everything, but I just did not have the money. So if I went to a technicon, I was going to get some kind of salary. That's why I went there and did 4 years of that.
And then you get this money and you're like, that's it, I'm balling.
Oh yeah, I was fine. At least my parents didn't have to worry about me on accommodation, anything. When I finished my matric, they just didn't know what to do. Yeah, and I had made all the applications and everything. You get accepted, but you haven't got fees and all this. Technical route at that time was the most practical one for a person like me.
And yes, and that's the thing about Technicon, right? Everything is practical work, so you are kind of applying your skills during you studying.
Yes.
When, out of your entire career, and I mean, you've done a lot of things, which job would you say you were the best at?
Yeah, I think geology. You know what I normally say to people, what's nice about geology, talk to rocks. So if I say to a rock, I think a sedimentary rock, it doesn't talk back. If I say you're a metamorphic rock, it doesn't talk back. You know, they just accept my classification and then life goes on. But what I have now is I have Anele who must talk back, I must argue with you and all that, you know.
No, you and I are not going to argue. No, we're not going to argue. I don't think, like, people get so scared to come onto the show. I'm like, guys, me, if I don't argue with anyone, me, I ask my questions, you answer them, we take a photo, you go for dinner at Stain City.
Oh, great.
So we're done. But I mean, we are going to bring up some controversial things. You've made comments about coloureds and Indians. Do you still stand by them, or is this a moment you're like, you know what, maybe I was out of line there? You know, I think with colours, you said there's too many colours in Western things.
No. No. I think the context was misconstrued and all that. But I think at the time I was a DG of Labour, and my duty and responsibility was to deal with the labour market. So I was at work, and the point I was making, which is backed by statistics, is that in the Western Cape, the representation of colours is more than anywhere else in the country. Now, I was saying companies everywhere else in the country, in Mpumalanga and everywhere else, they cannot make their targets. And I'm sitting there as a DG of Labour, and I'm saying to a company in Mpumalanga, you must have 10% of colours. And there's people, where am I going to get them?
Oh, so you're saying that needs a Western Cape then relocate?
I wanted them to be first in line everywhere else. So it was in the interest of the colours. So I was saying to them, everybody's looking for you guys and you're hiding in the Western Cape. By the way, the first statement I had made on that, I had said, coloured people, please understand, you own the rest of South Africa. So I thought I was empowering the coloureds, but people...
You're like saying, don't stay here only, please, by all means.
Yes, and by the way, and I was doing this because it's something that I had done myself. I'm born in Soweto, but I had to go and live in Carltonville to do exploration geology. And then when I wanted promotion, they said to me, well, you can only get promotion if you get a 3D appreciation of the ore body. And for that to happen, you have to go to a mine in Velkom. That's how I went to Velkom. So for me, a professional has got to be somebody, and by the way, this was meant for management level, so it's not for everybody. So for me, a professional is somebody that should be mobile because you've got portable skills and all that, as opposed to a blue-collar worker, which could be regionalized. Yeah, so this was for the top 3 layers of management. So for me, a manager in Saldanha Bay can manage something in Limpopo. So that was the context. So it was all positive, absolutely nothing racist about that, but it was misconstrued. But I apologized. And the reason I apologized is not because what I said was wrong. I apologized because people were offended. So I was just acknowledging the offense, that people are offended. Whether what I said is right or wrong is
that's neither here nor there.
Irrelevant.
Okay.
Important is that people were offended, so I apologized.
So, like we are now discovering, he is no stranger to controversy. After the break, Anele will tell us how he intends to shake things up in South Africa's broadcasting and print industry. That's why you're here. Stay with us. And welcome back. He's definitely a straight talker, and he's getting real with us today about his heavily criticized new business acquisition with a tidy little sum of 450 million rand. Sure, I also have that amount in my bank account. Pressed on what will be the first on his agenda, Anele Manyi had said that he's going to commit to the press code being followed to the letter. So let's talk about this deal.
Yeah.
Did you see the memes, by the way? Hey, people are making fun of you. They like put a photo of you and your shoes weren't polished. They're like, does this guy look like he's got 450 million?
It's these shoes, by the way.
Is it these shoes?
Yeah, no things happen. Your myth is low. Just a day I kicked some dust, and then this thing happens. But, you know, it's one of those things that it's fine.
Shame, guys. I can honestly say his shoes are fine. You know, his shoes are fine.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
So how does the deal come about? Is it for sale? Do you see that it's for sale? Because I mean, I know with like deals like this, you have to kind of know someone who knows someone who overheard something. How did it come to you?
Yeah, no, I read the situation. And the situation was that you have these 2 properties, the TV and
the newspaper.
And the newspaper, which if I had not come in fact, what would have happened, the Guptas would have lost that business. They would have lost their money. But importantly, people would have lost their jobs. So I wanted to salvage both. So I could go to them and say, guys, at the rate things are going, you're actually going to lose all your investment. I can salvage this. And by the way, I think you've benefited in the country. It's time we do some reparations. So finance this deal yourselves, as it were. That's what vendor financing is about.
So is that what you can say to them? Can you say to the Guptas, guys, you've actually...
Yes.
Yeah,
now
it's time to...
Yeah, it's time to pay back.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought morally and so on, they have a duty to plow back in a manner that we can appreciate as the locals, as it were. So that's a deal I put to them. I say there's a lot of plow back that you need to do in this country. Start with me, and so on. But when you do that, I'm actually trying to save the jobs at the same time, because if you don't do that, all these people employed in these places are going to
lose their jobs.
Yeah.
So what kind of due diligence do you then do to kind of see what they're really worth, how much I should be paying? Because I mean, the Guptas wanted to buy the Mail and Garden for 20 million. Cut to a year later, you buying the New Age, which doesn't perform as well as the Mail and Garden, for 120 million.
Yeah, no, look, I think I have an inside track in that for 2 reasons. One, I used to be a CEO of GCIS, so I know a bit more about these assets than I let known, firstly. Secondly, I also ran a program there called Straight Talk, so I know the inside of the other issues in there. So yeah, and I think people sometimes confuse the asset value versus market value. So sometimes people get caught up in that kind of a confusion, as it were. So in between all of that, and looking at their financials and all that, and by the way, I'm not totally green in terms of looking at financials. You know, I spent something like 6 years in banking. I used to work for Barclays Bank PLC. I used to work for the Netco Group. So the issues of looking at numbers and looking at analyzing balance sheets is something that I am quite happy with. So I could do my own analysis and then speak to my friends. I've got very educated friends. At night I say, guys, look at this and so on. People will look at it And I'm happy with that. And also because this is going to be financed through the profits that the business is going to make. And then we also have a whole range of warranties which they sign.
Has ANN7 ever made a profit?
It's always been profitable.
Okay.
Yeah, both businesses are actually profitable. And that is actually the beauty of it, that these businesses are profitable under very trying market conditions for them.
Because you would think it's a saturated market,
Yeah.
newspaper and, you know.
Even before that, these ones have got a special attention of being in difficult situations. When we say Gupta, nobody wants to place an ad and so on.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it even more difficult for them. And that's what was a value proposition for me to say, well, let me remove this Gupta name. And that's why when I bought them, I did not say, let's do a deal 60-40. I said, I'm buying you out completely.
Yeah.
So there's no Gupta equity left in there. All I just have is a big debt, but I run the thing now.
Yeah.
I call the shots. I can also bring you in.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Hey, chap,
Yeah.
we're going to have to take out some big money, eh?
We need people to make people smile and laugh. You've made me laugh so much in a few seconds.
Sunchama, Anele, Sunchama. I'm here to ask you questions. Sunchama, right? But how involved are you going to be in the actual running? Because, I mean, you did run a program there.
Yeah.
So you're not exactly green, as you say, to broadcasting.
Yeah.
But how far does your involvement
Look,
go
I
in the
think
running?
one of the things that, let's just cut straight to it, this notion that the owner and the editorial is Chinese wall, we all know that is a lot of nonsense. There's no such a thing.
It's Chinese won.
The Chinese wall. You know, these newspaper people will say to you, you know, us in the editors are not involved, the owners are not involved. There's no such a thing.
Yeah, okay.
I am an owner who would want to know what is happening, because I am this kind of an owner that if anything goes wrong, people are not going to say editor, they're going to call me. So it's going to be my responsibility and my interest to make sure that people do things right. One of the things that we are going to do, for instance, that people that want to be editors and people there must understand. On the TV side, as an example, we're going to introduce a gospel, we're going to introduce...
So it's going to be a variety of things.
It's going to be much more variety.
News.
Yes. It's going to be all of that. We're going to have a slot to promote small business for free. So all the businesses that want to promote, they don't have marketing budget. They come to ANN7, we're going to promote them for free. So we're going to create that slot. We're going to create a slot even for young people. South Africa is like 70% young. But there's no focus on young people.
So you're shifting away from it as just as a news station.
It's going to shift from just, it's going to be news and information. That's what it's going to be. And it's going to talk to South Africa as a whole, not just pockets of the elite, as it were. It's going to be a cross-section, people in the rural areas, the township, etc. So it's going to be the place to be.
And, I mean, the Guptas are not known for their great treatment of staff. Is that something you're aware of, and is that a culture that you're going to change?
In my first few days, I've had a staff meeting which was reported very silly, and that what they reported was not true. But I've had a discussion with the staff. They've told me about their issues. I said to them, we're going to deal with it no later than September.
Okay.
One of the things that we're going to do is to do a benchmark study in terms of the pay packages and so on, to make sure that what they are paid is market related and all of those. So we're going to look at those things, and we're going to. I also have my own reputation to protect. I'm a former DG of Labour. I'm a former chairperson of the Commission for Employment Equity. The last thing that's going to happen under my watch is to have staff that is underpaid. That's not going to happen.
Okay, look, I'm pretty sure people watching are like, you know, they want me to get political with you. Ask him if he's ever gotten money from the Guptas. Ask him if he's ever been to Dubai.
Yes, I've been.
Did the Guptas pay?
No, but I've been for holiday.
And the Guptas didn't pay for it?
No, not at all.
The Guptas have never paid you for anything besides now giving you money to buy their station from them?
No, look, you must remember I did straight talk with them, so they paid for that.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So,
I hear what you say. Listen, for me, I just think that I'm a broadcaster and I like broadcasting. So if you can just protect that entity and grow the industry, because I feel like we are a forgotten trade. It's like we do these things, but people, they can enjoy it, they can like it, but we never get the big money, we never get, all it is fame. Entertainers in this country are given fame and nothing else. So if you can change that tide, I'll be very impressed with you.
I'm telling you, the rules of the game are going to change.
Okay.
It's going to be a fundamentally different space. That's why people are so traumatized the white monopoly capital media is traumatized.
I'm not listening to you and your bell potential thing. A white capital.
SACP 1962. There's mustn't confuse these people. The white monopoly capital thing, 1962 is the Communist Party. So this notion that is a Nobel potential is actually a lie.
No, but Galuku,
so
we're not
that's
saying
what we're going to correct.
We can say that they revived it to suit their narrative.
Oh, no, this has always been around. Uvavi has been saying white monopoly capital. Umalima has been, Ivan Jim. All these people have been screaming white monopoly capital. There's no such a thing. That it came with a ball potential. That is a lie. That's why NN7 and the New Age are important, to correct all these lies that have been told thus far. So now we're going to see news with integrity and honest and balanced and accurate.
Okay, thank you for your time. This was
welcome.
Very brave of you. Thank you. Yeah. You heard it from the horse's mouth. Thank you so much to Anele Manyi for joining us here on Real Talk. Now it's been a glitzy and celebratory weekend for many personalities, and award season is just beginning. In a few weeks' time, the Savannah Comics Choice Awards will take place, and I have one of the super talented bunch of nominees next in studio. Stay with us. For those who are just joining us, where have you been? We kicked off the show with Anele Manyi, who's now the head honcho at ANN7 and the New Age, giving us the no-holds-barred truth about his new role. We're now switching lanes a bit. We have a comedy legend coming up in a bit. But first, we're joined by a young man who resigned from his 9-to-5 to follow a career in stand-up comedy. You might think that is a little bit crazy, but he's out here living the truth. Today, he's an award-winning comedian, winner of the 2016 Savannah Audience Comics Choice Award, nominated for a Newcomer of the Year in 2017, and just this past weekend, he beat out legends in the game to win the Best Comedian Trophy at the Viewers' Choice Awards. He goes by the name Samari.
Mama, Papa, everyone, my teachers. Hi.
Your teachers?
Yeah.
Did your teachers like you?
No, they didn't.
No.
I was the odd one out. They didn't like the fact that I didn't like being in class.
No list out.
Like, enjoy life. Like, I was that guy who used to go to school for just enjoying that atmosphere.
Ne?
Not the books. No, not the books. Just to see those learners there. And like, hi, that was me. I wish if there was an exam, just fell for it.
For atmosphere?
Yeah, I fell for it. No, pass. Yes. I got 10 years. That made me who I am today.
So were you the kind of kid where, when you walk into class, the teacher kicks you out even before?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was that kid, like, Habampona. Banbara, where are your parents? Back guy, but then I used to just collect those, you know, like in our classes, so only that me always nang span and for call. Only cartoon, only bamba. Nigga sport. One bamba, kerari mama. Kerara scala. Act like my mother.
Act like my mother.
What thing? I feel mola. I shame. Yes, ubaba ke uma angazi ukuthi akalaleli. Angamenzela irawraw. Mntana lona uba ubaba ke khona manje akekho la. Ufuna umsebenzi. Mara makabuya ngizomtshela. Ngimophatana and that's it.
So, do you pass matric properly?
Hands fan.
Just okay, so God was with you.
Yeah.
Did you go study afterwards? Because I know you left the job, like a 9-to-5 corporate job. Did you study to be there? Or did you just go straight into work?
You know what happened, Nane, in my life? Because I knew the type of person I was, or that I am even today, I didn't like being in a space where I keep quiet for a long time. So in my mind, I knew for a fact that varsity at that time was a far-fetched thought for me.
Yeah.
So then, but then you know what, I just went with the flow, then I passed. Lucky enough, there was this linership from, back in the days, the company was called Safco Panalpina, which is now Bitvest, or Panalpina, again, BPL,
I don't know.
Bitvest Panalpina Logistics. Yes, Bitvest Panalpina Logistics. Yes.
Before those clicks, that you can pass anything.
Yeah, now I've made it. Guys, sorry, my ex-colleagues. Before I shame, I famous man, I was in the company. BPL before Lungqueen. So yeah, I got a leadership there, and then I worked there for I did freight handling, freight forwarding. First, it was for 2 years. Then after that, I did freight handling. At first it was freight forwarding, so there was recession. Then they didn't chase the learners, so banka staff were survivor. So
you guys were obviously like getting paid less. So
yes, I understand. Then but I was thinking, let us do another learnership for them. So I did actually 2 learnership there, and then my mom said, you know what, Manaka, in order for when I manager one day, why was I school? Then I went to UJ.
Yeah.
Guys are logistics. So then I can like I get an cool and generations. Ke bona bo office ngere. Jo, let's take about like office, you understand? And then I was there working, but I was in the warehouse, unfortunately. But then as I got that space, I wanted to buy a warehouse.
But in a warehouse, you can talk most. Whilst you're doing things, you can talk.
But then they distract about, because now people come from finance, from freight handling. They come to my department, and I got 2 written warnings for making people laugh at work, for just making noise. Like, ha, 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 ha. I was that guy. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, you know what, Wena? No, so that gave me some, you know, something to think about, that I'm going to be fired sooner or later.
So do you know then that you're good at comedy, and perhaps you can do it as a career?
I was content because from Joburg to Kempton Park, I used train, not how train, it was that metro rail. So I used to have a couch, on
the train?
Yeah, and I used to make people laugh there.
So your first comedy gig was on a train?
Yes, and so if somebody who's like 50 years old and they tell that, Wanaka, why are you wasting time? You're making us laugh every day. We go to work and we laugh every day, from here to Johannesburg, from here to Kempton Park. So that was one of the things that made my days. Every day I would be fulfilled with that. So when I get to work, spaces some bora. Then every time once I get excited is when I train. Then I find what holo. Then I say some more, and then because more training so I used to mock those churches. Bazalwane, hey, babang bashembe. So that used to make me happy.
So finally, what makes you then join the stage? Finally, to go do your first comedy gig in a comedy club?
And then I was like, 2015, 18th of February, I was like, Samar, it's now or never. I know you don't know anyone in this industry. You know nothing. You've never done comedy.
But you can see comedians on TV, and you can see that it's something that you can do, ne?
Yeah, like someone took me to a show, and I was like, but I love this. This is, and you know, once people they were there on stage performing, I used to correct them in my son, but mole so ish, we understand. Then I was like, you know what, somebody just do it. Then Kachepa email, I resigned with immediate effect, and they was like, somebody, why? You know, people mock you. No, this is a world first-class company. You can't just quit. No, I was like, you know what? You know, a dream or a passion, you are the only person who will understand that. Your mom, your twin brother, whoever, they won't get it. So it's up to you as a person what you do with what is burning inside of you. So I was like, you know what, somebody, do it, whether you fail or not. Anyway, and once you die, people want chakore, where now we know it's a mistake. No, people will cry because they lost someone they love. So I was like, no, somebody, do it.
So then somebody does it, and then?
God.
And then?
Look at God.
Then here you are. I mean, this past weekend at the Choice Awards, you won against what people are calling legends.
Yeah, Mashavela, Skumba, Celestine Tuli, Tumi Morak, and me as a newcomer.
As a newcomer. How was that for you?
Yo, it was one of the best moments, because for the fact that I was competing with those guys, and I knew for a fact that some people, they were like, because at first, you know, people, but we're too much. Some comics were like, but somebody doesn't fit to be in that category, man. It's just a newcomer. Someone's making some big names there. So, but then I never shouted. I was like, you know what? God will make something. Just to put them, I was Daniel. That was put on Modita Lions. And I was that.
So now, with the Comics Choice Awards, the ones that are coming up, do we have to vote for you? The
no,
judges?
This one,
there's no voting here.
There's no voting. Newcomer, they are at Gold Reef City. Tickets are at CompuTicket. So this one, it's like the panel, they are the ones that...
So the other legends decide who wins.
Who is the newcomer.
Okay, so 9th of September, Gold Reef City, 150 Rand.
150 Rand compute ticket. And then, yeah, to everybody who voted for me to win this, guys, this means a lot. This means a lot to me. I would just like to say here on TV, thank you very much. God bless you. Everyone, everybody out there, believe in yourself. Do not reply the naysayers. Don't reply. Just work hard. Your work will paralyze them. So, yeah.
And that is his summary. Get it? Summary? Summarized. His awards keep rolling in and will soon fill up his mom's room divider at home, I tell you. Catch him in the best of the best at the Comedy Awards, Gold Reef City on the 9th of September 2017 for this year's edition of the Savannah Comics Choice Awards. The theme this year is the freedom of funny, so make sure you check it out. On the other side of this, a comedy legend who knows all about being free in his funny. Stay with us. Chris Forrest has been on the SA comedy scene since the late 90s, the man behind the sellout hit show Who's Your Daddy that ended its run earlier this month, and he doesn't intend to slow down his role. In 2015, on the set of Celebrity MasterChef SA, he met Judge Pete Joffwood, and they soon found that they had a couple of things in common, one of them being the same dry sense of humor, and the other a liking for mouth-watering delicious food. They decided to combine their respective talents into a culinary comedy show, something that South Africa has never seen before. We welcome to Real Talk, Chris.
Hello, so good to be here.
Look at you, man.
Look at me, look at you, looking all spanky and black, huh?
Black is thinning, Chris. Surely,
I need a bit more.
As a fellow fat person.
I need a lot more black.
You know that. If you wear black, you look... I want to talk about, well, first I want to talk about the show you're doing, that where you're cooking and making us laugh. We'll get to that. I just want to backtrack a little bit. Somebody was saying that one of his first comedy gigs was on a train. So then I was like, oh my word, that's so wonderful, because obviously it's poetic, you know?
Yeah.
And you said no, it's not.
No, it's not wonderful. I've done shows on trains, on buses, on ships, and it's not wonderful. It's much nicer being in a nice room with a nice stage, with nice people laughing at you.
And a proper
on a train, you're like,
microphone.
let me tell you this one, and then, yeah.
But what has been your favorite stage to be on?
My favorite show to do, without a doubt, is David Cow's Blacks Only. Have you been? You must have been. I've seen you at one.
I have been to plenty of his shows.
The best audience in the country, without a doubt.
But you're not black.
I know. I get that a lot. It's weird. Like, frequently, people are like, hey, you're not black. I'm like, yeah. No, I've always been David's token white guy from Pure Monati days.
Is it not a little bit intimidating because what do you do? Are you throwing in a few Vanek words? Are you...
Not necessarily. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't speak too much Vanek. I speak a little bit. But no, humor is universal.
So you don't feel like, oh man, it's 5,000 black people, you know?
No. F.W. de Klerk used to feel that way, but
but not necessarily you.
I'm fine, yeah.
So 1994 did happen for you?
It did. It was a real thing.
It was a total real thing. I mean, you were doing comedy from a while back. Would you accept it when people say you are a legend in the comedy scene?
I like it in one way, but in another way, it makes me feel old. You feel old.
I see so.
Yeah, there was a tweet that went out a few years back that said, there's a young comedian called Gavin Kelly who was also doing a Blacks Only show, and they said Gavin Kelly is the new Chris Forrest. And I was like, but guys, I'm still here. There can't be a new me. The old me is still here.
Because also, do you know what happens? You guys move into corporate, right? We went to corporate. I mean, you and I did a Huggies gig together.
It was a
great
gig.
Look, it was too much fun with the little kids. But I mean, when you guys start moving into that because you become bankable, then the comedy, you know, the raw comedy scene, in a way, I feel kind of starts to spit you out. And then
I think it does and it doesn't, because you don't have time to do like the smaller club gigs, and then like also when you get a bit older, now I've got a family, so to go to Melville to perform for 30 people is it's not as easy as when it was just me and my wife, because now you want to spend time with your kids and look after them and everything. So you kind of pick your gigs, you know what I mean?
So how do you strike that balance?
Well, you've picked the nice gigs, and go with that. Sometimes when I'm working new material, I still do that.
Yes, because I want to go into that, because as comedians, and you guys do one-man shows, and I mean, you had a wonderful run there with Who's Your Daddy, is that before you take it on a big stage and before you have a one-man show, you try your jokes out, say, like, you know, at Parker's, and then you go try it out at the Box and all of that stuff. Like, would you ever not do that and just go onto stage and do a one-man show?
Not for a one-man show. Like when you're just trying out one new bit, I'll do it anywhere. But like for a one-man show, even Trevor Noah, our most famous comedian in South Africa, when he came home before he did his show, he tried his material out on a South African audience at the Box and at Goliath and Goliath. And all of that.
And even people that big have to still do it.
Even what's his name?
Dave Chappelle does it.
David Chappelle does it.
Chris Rock does it.
Chris Rock came, when he came out here, he came to a place in Melville called the Underground.
Yes.
And did a little preview show there just to make sure his material worked.
So speaking of like the internationals, you were selling out gigs in London in the 2000s. So to be fair, you were international before Trevor. Do people know that?
People don't know that. I was in Swaziland in 1999. You know what I mean?
In Lesotho.
No, I've never done Lesotho. I have done Ghana.
You see,
all the big places.
Do you feel like, you know, you are still going to be bigger than what you are in terms of comedy?
I want to be bigger than what I am, obviously, because if you lose your ambition, then you might as well retire. But I just love what I do, so I keep doing things that entertain me and having fun with it.
Have you ever wanted to change your style?
I have changed my style. Remember, I used to do a very deadpan.
Okay, I know that, but you're still not energetic. Like,
no.
You know, you're not out there going, "Hey, yo, man, I'm out here. We're gonna have ourselves a good old time."
That's far too much work. I'll leave that to the young people and the thin people. No, I'm not as deadpan as I used to be. But I think the secret to comedy is just being yourself.
Also, as you grew up and as life happened to you and you became a husband and you became a father, then you left the deadpan. Like the dry, the one-liners, and that naturally then evolved into your comedy. Yeah. But then that used to get you paid, the dry pan, because you used to do...
There was that, but I moved into doing the improv comedy space, the similar to Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yeah. And like it kind of, I just evolved, and I still love the deadpan thing, and I do it from time to time, but I'm just kind of more me now.
Whose Line Is It Anyway? Isn't Drew Carey on there?
Yes, I look like Drew Carey.
I didn't ask you that.
No, but I saw that look in your eye. You're gonna...
I was like, if you put some glasses on, put on a little bit more weight, you look just like him.
I get that a lot.
So who then is your comedy, I don't want to say mentor, you know, just you look at him or look at her and think, you know, that guy is funny. Because if you're funny to a comedian, you're funny, right?
I have a lot, and it changes all the time.
Yeah, at the moment?
At the moment, I'm really enjoying Louis C.K. And
it's a bit vulgar.
I like Jim Jeffries, if he's a lot vulgar. There's so many. I really just enjoy comedy.
And how do you stop yourself from not imitating them? Because, you know, when I got into radio, I tried to be everyone, right? And then you're like, oh no, be yourself.
Did you try and be Alex J?
I did.
Can you talk like him?
I definitely can. Joburg's #1 hit music station. Come on, of course
Fantastic.
I can.
It's brilliant.
He discovered me.
Did he?
Yeah.
Where were you?
At Tux FM.
Ah, well done, Alex.
And he used to listen to my show then.
Ah, okay.
So I mean, of course I'm going to try to be like the guy who discovered me.
Yes.
I owe him everything. I even owe him this pot plant.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow, look
definitely.
at you.
So who did you try to be like?
I tried to be like a few different people in the beginning. Jack D was somebody I really looked up to. There was a guy called Stephen Wright. Because I started doing the deadpan thing without really knowing where I was going. And then a lot of people would say, look at Stephen Wright. But he's a little bit more absurdist is the word than me.
And then when did you become Chris?
I'm not sure.
You're
Somewhere
not
around
sure?
2004. No, I think I was always Chris, but just you obviously get influences from different people, and who's ever making you laugh. And sometimes I'm on stage and I'm talking and I'm like, hang on, I've just picked up this guy's rhythm, and then you try and you want to be your own comic.
So perhaps you became Chris when your first biggest paycheck came.
Yeah.
When was that?
My first paid comedy show.
Like a big one.
It was a big one. I'm still waiting. The end of the month, hopefully. Can you hook that up?
Any day now. Any day now. Don't go away because I'm still hanging out with the insanely talented and deadpan Chris Forrest. Want to find out about this new cooking show that involves comedy. Also, I want to talk about his little stints as an actor. We'll do that before we wrap up the show right here on Real Talk. Stay with us. The man, the legend, a friend of ours, Chris Forrest, is in the house. He's been working on a new show called Don't Burn Your Sausage, an ingenious live show that is deliciously funny and rather risque.
I like how you said it.
Right?
It is, it's a very risque show.
It's a risque thing. So, MasterChef, you in it, Celebrity MasterChef, and you were my favorite contestant. And I kept on telling you this.
Yes.
And I kept on telling, and then I laughed because another contestant, Sade, was on, and she's Italian, and she went home on a pasta dish. So I was like, yeah. You know, and all the way until the end, you went up against Patricia Lewis.
Yes.
Very competitive, Patricia. Eh?
She's very competitive. She's
very
lovely.
Lovely, but very competitive.
Yes. They actually said to me that in the beginning, they were like, she smiles and she's lovely, but she's super competitive.
Okay, so now, how then does this show come about with you and one of the judges?
So when we were filming MasterChef, I have a very dry sense of humor. And so I would often be cracking jokes during the show that nobody except for Terence Bridget and Pete Goffwood would get.
Yeah.
And so he would be cracking himself, and kind of Ruben would be staring at him going, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, Ruben does look like...
He's a great chef. So like it was, I knew Pete's got a similar sense of humor, and he would come and he would take the mickey out of me while I was cooking. And you're not really, during the filming, you're not allowed too much interaction with the judges, because obviously they need to keep...
Yeah, professionalism.
But then afterwards, we kept in touch, and we had a few drinks from time to time. If I was in Cape Town, I'd go and see him. And then at some point he said to me, I've always wanted to do a festival. So I said, well, let's write a show together.
Okay.
So this show came about, and we did it at the Grahamstown Festival. And
I understand it went down like ice cream on a summer's day.
Like ice cream on a summer's day. We had our very own Rolling Stones moment. We're an internationally sold out show. Did you know that?
Oh.
That's right. The food festival in Windhoek, Namibia. The show sold out within 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were doing it by mistake because it was our very first one. And then the woman was like, "Can you do a show with Pete?" And I was like, "We've got one written." And then boom.
But isn't it like a wonderful thing when you think that you're in this house of entertainment, and then you just discover a new room? Because this is like a new room, and all the sun goes in there, and now you're in there.
Now the whole cooking thing's been amazing for me. I've loved it.
And I mean, you cooking, and okay, so is he teaching you how to be a better cook, and are you teaching how to be a better comedian?
Both. He's my cooking mentor. Even when I was in MasterChef, I had a copy of his cookbook, and I was looking at it, and now I've bought it afterwards. And like whenever I'm doing a cooking demo and I'm not sure what to do, I'll phone him and be, Pete, what should I do? What should I cook for these people? And he's very helpful. His style is brilliant.
And when it comes to punchlines and wits and humor, are you then saying, you know, give me your food tips, I give you my jokes?
I give him a lot of comedy tips, but he's a natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very funny guy.
And you guys did Grahamstown. Are you taking the show anywhere else now?
We hope to. We're going to see how the Joburg run goes. And then you never know.
When is the Joburg run?
The Joburg one's happening on the Heritage Day weekend, so it's from the 22nd of September to the 24th, because the Monday is a public holiday.
I do realize that.
And it's at Empress Palace Casino.
And has it sold out internationally?
No, we're still working nationally. It hasn't sold out yet. You can get your tickets at a variety of places. So you can either go to showtix with an X.co.za or the Empress Box Office or hot919.co.za.
Okay, so do you think, do you guys like change the dishes that you do all the time, or does the script stay? So if I come 3 days in a row because I like to cook.
No, the script stays the same. It's basically what the show's all about is how to get yourself some action with food. So you're looking at me strangely.
Action through food, not action with food.
No, through food.
So you're not cuddling with a block of cheese?
No, not,
okay.
Not on the show. I might do that later though. But, you know, I love cheese in unnatural ways. Not blue cheese. I don't discriminate on color, but blue cheese, you know.
It's not my thing.
No, But other than that, cheddar. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So it's all about impressing whoever a potential partner with what Pete calls his spade work meal. So we look at the similarities between food and sex and everything in between. And then we show you how to cook the meal. Everyone gets a recipe card, so you can go home and then you can do it yourself.
You can get lucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Will it become a TV show?
I hope so. People at SABC.
How is that a fact going? I loved it. I was on your show. Is that a fact?
It went really well.
Yeah.
We're still enjoying it. I think it's it might I've been getting people coming up to me all the time.
Yeah.
And now we know that you're a good liar as well.
No, I sucked.
Did you suck?
No, I sucked. Let me just bring
win
them up
your
to speed.
episode?
Is that a fact? I don't know if you've seen it. Really good show. It plays on Saturdays here on SABC 3, and he hosts it. And basically, you have to lie. You explain it.
Yeah. So you have to tell a story, and then the co-panelists have to decide whether you're telling the truth or not. And if you are telling the truth and they say you're lying, then you get points. And if you're lying, and you get points.
No, I was terrible. I was on the show with the guy that makes the dresses. Who would have thought the guy who makes dresses is such a good liar?
Yes.
Johan.
The one who said he was a swimmer and stuff.
Yes.
Yes, I do remember that.
He won, not me. Any other TV, because I mean, you've done movies, and you host things on TV. Any other TV that you're looking at going into?
Not right now. We're hoping to turn Don't Burn Your Sausage into a TV show. One of the compliments we got in one of the reviews, they said it's like the Top Gear of cooking shows, which I think is really cool.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes.
That is absolutely amazing. And none of this is distracting you from your comedy.
No. Well, this is comedy, technically.
I know, but I mean, like comedy that has you, then going to the Fringe in Edinburgh, things like that. Like, is that not like an aspiration for you where you still want to go full out and still want to do, sellout shows in Australia, sellout shows in America?
I'm actually talking to a chap in Australia right now about going there. But the Fringe, I'm probably going to put on hold. I've been twice. It was great. We had a sellout run the second time.
Yeah.
Way back, 2005,
Back in the good old days.
Good old days.
When the country wasn't going to the dance.
When you could actually get 16 rands for £1. Yeah, so I'm going to wait till my kids are a bit older, because right now it's tough traveling.
Yeah.
Without them and stuff like that.
So what's the state of South African comedy?
It's too good.
It's cooking, eh?
South African comedy, like there's so many talented youngsters. You had Summary here now.
Yeah.
The Goliaths are just awesome. Obviously Trevor, he's just next level. There's so much young talent coming through. They've just got to stop now and let us old guys retire in peace.
Yeah, we want to get back in the game. What could be detrimental to South African comedy?
People not coming to watch Don't Burn Your Sausage. It could destroy the whole industry. Actually, like Trevor Noah phoned me the other day. He's very worried people aren't going to come see the show because he might lose the gig on Comedy Central.
If we don't come watch,
yeah, he might not have the Daily Show anymore if the show's not sold out. So by the way, if it sells out, we do it naked.
Because I saw a picture of you guys with the aprons and the bums. What's that about?
When we have a sellout show, we do it naked.
With aprons, obviously.
With aprons, we don't want to traumatize the children.
Yeah, are children allowed?
No.
Okay, sure.
But that was weird. That was one of the things that happened in Grahamstown. We put an age restriction on the show, but naturally people ignore it. And then afterwards, people kind of queued up to take pictures.
And there you are.
And there we are. And you kind of forget like that you're in the buff and there's just this queue of people. So you just kind of, the vibe. I'm taking a picture. And then like at some point, one of the other comics, a guy called Warren Robertson, he came up and he said, "Chris, you realize you're naked and you've got your arm around a child." It's like, whoa. And he was actually the one who took the picture from behind. So you see the...
Chris, thank you for your time. I'm going to come check this Don't Burn Your Sausage out.
I'll cook the meal for you and we can see if it works.
I sincerely hope you don't sell out that day because I'm not looking forward to seeing you naked. Don't forget to go and check out Don't Burn Your Sausage. Takes place from the 22nd to the 24th of September at Emperor's Palace. And that's all we have time for today. What a good show it's been, eh? A big thank you to my guests, Anele, Manyi, Samari, as well as Chris Forrest. Until tomorrow. Good night.